أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عدد من صلى عليه، وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد من لم يصل عليه، وصل على سيدنا محمد كما أمرتنا بالصلاة عليه، وصل عليه كما يحب أن يصلى عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما أمرتنا أن نصلي عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما هو أهله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحب وترضاه له. الصلاة والسلام. اللهم يا رب سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد صل على سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد، وأعط سيدنا محمدا الدرجة والوسيلة في الجنة. اللهم يا رب سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد اجز سيدنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم ما هو أهله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من الصلاة شيء، وارحم سيدنا محمدا وآل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من الرحمة شيء، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من البركة شيء، وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من السلام شيء. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين، وصل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين، وصل على سيدنا محمد في النبيين، وصل على سيدنا محمد في المرسلين، وصل على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم أعط سيدنا محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والشرف والدرجة الكبيرة. اللهم إني آمنت بسيدنا محمد ولم أره، فلا تحرمني في الجنان رؤيته، وارزقني صحبته، وتوفني على ملته، واسقني من حوضه مشربا رويا سائغا هنيئا لا نظمأ بعده أبدا، إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم أبلغ روح سيدنا محمد مني تحية وسلاما. اللهم وكما آمنت بسيدنا محمد ولم أره، فلا تحرمني في الجنان رؤيته. اللهم تقبل شفاعة سيدنا محمد الكبرى، وارفع درجته العليا، وآته سؤله في الآخرة والأولى، كما آتيت سيدنا إبراهيم وسيدنا موسى. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد نبيك ورسولك وسيدنا إبراهيم خليلك وصفيك وسيدنا موسى كليمك ونجيك وسيدنا عيسى روحك وكلمتك، وعلى جميع ملائكتك ورسلك وأنبيائك وخيرتك من خلقك وأصفيائك وخاصتك وأوليائك من أهل أرض حين عدد ما أمطرت السماء منذ بنيتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما أنبتت الأرض منذ دحوتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد النجوم في السماء فإنك أحصيتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما تنفست الأرواح منذ خلقتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما خلقت وما تخلق وما أحاط به علمك وأضعاف ذلك. اللهم صل عليهم عدد خلقك ورضاء نفسك وزنة عرشك ومداد كلماتك ومبلغ علمك وآياتك. اللهم صل عليهم صلاة تفوق وتفضل صلاة المصلين عليهم من الخلق أجمعين كفضلك على جميع خلقك. اللهم صل عليهم صلاة دائمة مستمرة الدوام على مر الليالي والأيام متصلة الدوام لا انقضاء لها ولا انصرام على مر الليالي والأيام عدد كل وابل وطل. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد نبيك وسيدنا إبراهيم خليلك وعلى جميع أنبيائك وأصفيائك من أهل أرضك وسمائك عدد خلقك ورضاء نفسك وزنة عرشك ومداد كلماتك ومنتهى علمك وزنة جميع مخلوقاتك صلاة مكررة أبدا عدد ما أحصى علمك وملء ما أحصى علمك وأضعاف ما أحصى علمك صلاة تزيد وتفوق وتفضل صلاة المصلين عليهم من الخلق أجمعين كفضلك على جميع خلقك. اللهم اجعلني ممن لزم ملة نبيك سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعظم حرمته وأعز كلمته وحفظ عهده وذمته ونصر حزبه ودعوته وكثر تابعيه وفرقته ووافى زمرته ولم يخالف سبيله وسنته. Allahümme inni es'elukel
Selam Efendimizin Hazretlerinin aziz pak münevver mutahhar ruh şeriflerine salavat-ı şerife getirenlerin ahir ve akıbetleri hayrola. Âli ezvâc-ı tahirat-ı evlâd-ı Resulü ashab-ı güzin efendilerimizin sair-i enbiya azam ve Resul-i kiram hazıratın ervah şeriflerine Pirimiz Bilal Habeşi radıyallahu anh Efendimizin mihmandar Resulü Kibriya Eyyub Sultan Halid bin Zeyd ve Eyyub el-Ansari radıyallahu anh, Şah Murşidan Şah Haca Muhammed Bahaddin Akşebendi el-Bukhari, Mevlana Celaleddin Rumi, Mevlana Ziyaddin Hard el-Bağdadi, Sahibu Zaman Kıbletül İslam Şeyh Mevlana Muhammed Nazım Adel el-Hakkani, Sahibu Seyf Şeyh Abdülkerim el-Kıbrısi el-Rabbani Kaddesallahu esarrum hazır arvahi için, Hadimül Harameyn-i Şerifen Yavuz Sultan Selim Han, Ebel Fatih vel Magazi Fatih Sultan Mehmet Han ve Serdar Hakan Sultan Abdülhamid Han cennet mekan, Firdevs-i Aşiyan ve Hazratın ve avni enayetine, ala husus bu caminin bayinesi ve bugüne kadar içerisinden gelmiş geçmiş İmam Muazzin Kayyim cemaatin ve kafe ehli eman ruhi için, Allah rızası için El Fatiha. Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. İnna Allah ve melâiketuhu yusallûne alen nebi. Ya eyyühellezîne âmenû sallû aleyhi ve sellimû teslîmâ. Allahümme salli ala seyyidina Muhammedin ve ala ali seyyidina Muhammed. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. Eşhedü en la ilahe illallah, eşhedü en la ilahe illallah, eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah, eşhedü enne Muhammeden Resulullah. Hayya ale's-salah, hayya ale's-salah, hayya alel-felah, hayya alel-felah. Allahu Ekber, Allahu Ekber. La ilahe illallah.
La ilahe illallah. Seyyidina Mevlana Muhammed Resulullah sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem. Elhamdülillah. Elhamdülillah. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Ve salatu ve selamu ala Resulina Muhammedin ve ala alihi ve sahbihi ecmain. Nahmadullah Teala ve nastağfir eşhedü en la ilahe illallah vahdehu la şerike lah. Ve eşhedü enne seyyidina Muhammeden abduhu ve habibuhu ve resuluhu. Sallallahu aleyhi ve ala alihi ve ezvacihi ve sahabi tabi khulafe raşidin mahadin min ba'di. Ve zerimmeti ala tahkik. Huzuza minhum alel amiti khulafe Resulü ala tahkik. Umarel mu'minin. Hazreti Ebu Bakır ve Osman ve Ali ve ala bakır sahabe tabi'in. Ridwanullah Teala aleyhim ecmain. Ya eyyuhal mu'minul hazirun. Yedkullah Teala ve innallaha mellezine tekvellezine hum muhsinun. Elhamdülillahi Rabbil alemin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursalin. Sayyidina Mawlana Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. All praises are due to Allah, Lord of the universes. All praises are due to Allah, who is the first, the last, the manifest, the hidden, the one who has might and power over all things. May peace and blessings be upon the Sultan of the Prophets, the Imam of the Messengers, the intercessor for the sinners, the master of the first and the last, the grandfather of Hassan and Hussein, Sayyidina Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. May peace and blessings be upon him and upon his noble family and upon his blessed companions, especially upon the four Khulafa Rashidin, Hazrati Abu Bakr Siddiq, Hazrati Umar al-Faruq, Hazrati Osman al-Ghani, and Hazrati Ali al-Murtaza, and all those who follow them until the last day. May peace and blessings be upon the Khajagan of the noble way, the inheritors of the Holy Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. May peace and blessings be upon all the rightly guided sultans, especially the Ottoman sultans who preserved the maqam of the Khilafat and kept the ummah under the shade of Allah. May Allah love those who love them. May Allah curse those who hate them. And may Allah hasten their return. Ameen. Ya ayyuhal mu'minun, O believers, Islam is for intelligent people, people who use their minds, their intelligence, their aql, people who make tafakkur, thinking. Islam is not for those square-head ones, for those foolish ones, for those stupid ones. Imam al-Ghazali, Hujjatul Islam, the proof of Islam, is saying, the person whose weakness is stupidity cannot be cured. As Hazrat Isa alayhi salam said, indeed, I did not fail to bring the dead to life, but I failed in curing the stupid. Sahib al-Saif is explaining intelligence and stupidity to us in his sohbat, saying, an intelligent man must run to make his Lord to be happy with him. In this short life that Allah has given us, we must run to make him happy, not to make our ego happy. Our ego is never going to be happy until the end, and when it is going to leave you, you will ask, where are you going? It will say, I'll tell you. I finished my job, and you're going to the dumpster now. You are finished. That was my job, to finish you up. Don't get fooled by that. We should not get fooled by that, because we are carrying this life with us, and we know the tricks and the traps of this ego and what it is trying to do to us. If you still get fooled, then what do you call those? Ahmak. What is it in English? Say whatever you want. It's ahmak, fool, idiot, stupid, lost. Be intelligent. Intelligence is not how much you read and how much you write. Intelligence is not how much computer you know. Intelligence is not how much you know how to count money. Everybody can do that. If you train them, they can do that. Intelligent man is that one who asks and who questions, saying, who am I? What am I? What am I doing and where am I going? That one is intelligent. Asking questions. If you sit and ask that question sincerely, then you are going to need to find an answer for that. And the words of our Shaykh, they speak the truth. Haq words, straight words, alive words. Those are the words of our Shaykh. Intelligent person is looking at everything and asking questions to understand who he is, what is inside him, and how to complete his work inside this world. Intelligent man is always investigating, questioning. Intelligent man is always looking to learn. That is the kind of learning that Holy Prophet ﷺ is talking about when he says, seeking knowledge is obligation upon every Muslim. And one of the ways that people learn about themselves and learn about the world around them and sharpen their intelligence, it is through studying and understanding our history. Our Grand Shaykh and our Shaykh Effendi put a huge emphasis on learning history and understanding it. Because by looking at events that happen, by analyzing them, and by putting ourselves inside of them, we can answer those questions that Shaykh Effendi is saying of who am I, what am I doing, and where I am going. Shaykh Effendi is talking about what happens when a person stops studying history, when he stops asking questions, saying, don't you read? Don't you know the history of the awliya Allah? Maybe you don't because you don't read anymore too, because you're knowing so much. The one biggest mistake that the Muslim people today have is that they don't know the history. You don't read and you don't come to ask questions, not worldly, not spiritually, and not heavenly. It means no inspiration is coming to you at all. It's coming, but you're completely blocked. You're not seeing anything. You're blind and deaf, and if you're blind in dunya, then you're going to be blind in akhirat. Nothing is coming to you. Otherwise, you're going to come to ask the questions. I'm waiting because there are steps that you're going up, and you reach the third step. That one who went up and knows and down knows that there is a difficulty on the third step. So we must look at and know our history. We just passed through one of the most important and saddest events that happened in the history of Islam. Do you know that? Because nobody is asking. The commemoration of the Shahadat of Hazrat Osman al-Ghani, the companion, the son-in-law of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, the third of the Khulafai Rashidin, the one that Allah and His Prophet praised. Before we talk about the martyrdom of Hazrat Osman, we must remind about the greatness of Hazrat Osman. Holy Prophet ﷺ said, Abu Bakr and Umar are like the eyes of my head. Osman ibn Affan is like the tongue in my mouth. Ali ibn Abu Talib is the soul in my body. Even before Islam, Hazrat Osman was known as one of the people with the best ahlak. Mothers used to sing lullabies to their babies and say, "Oh my darling, may I love you like the Quraysh love Osman." And Hazrat Abu Bakr invited Hazrat Osman to Islam, and he accepted right away. Even when his uncle tied him up and tried to bring him back to kufr. He's one of the Sahabis who memorized the entire Quran Karim. Hazrat Osman was the most generous to the Muslims, that when there was no water in Medina, he was the one that bought an entire well so that the Muslims would have water to drink. Whenever there was a need for the Muslims, Hazrat Osman was always there to fulfill it. And Holy Prophet ﷺ said so many times, "Ya Allah, I'm happy with Osman. You be happy with him too." Holy Prophet ﷺ loved Hazrat Osman so much that he gave his daughter Hazrat Ruqyah to him in marriage. And when she passed away, the Prophet ﷺ gave his other daughter, Hazrat Kulsum, to him in marriage. And when she passed away, Holy Prophet said, "If I had 40 daughters, I would give them all in marriage to Osman." He is that person that Holy Prophet said about him, every prophet will have a friend in paradise, and my friend there will be Osman ibn Affan. This is the greatness of Hazrat Osman. Yet he was brutally assassinated in his own home by people who called themselves Muslims. How is that? What could lead to people entering the home of this great Sahabi who was their Khalifa, whose beard was white, who was reading the Quran, and pull the sword against him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Holy Prophet ﷺ give the answer. Allah is saying in the Quran Karim, "Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, fitna is worse than killing." Sadaqallahu al-Azim. And Holy Prophet ﷺ is saying, stay away from fitna. Starting a fitna with words is the same as starting it with a sword. Sadaqallah Rasul. So what was happening in the time of Hazrat Osman? Confusion, fitna, backbiting, slandering, gossip, confusion. How did it start? Just talk. People said, "Look at Osman, he is not doing things properly. He is putting his family members as governors and in important positions, and they are being tyrants, and he is not saying anything. He's choosing favorites from the ones that he loves and letting them to have the dunya, and he's not helping us anymore." And what did those whispers of fitna turn into? They turn into a monster. They turn into a monster that came all the way to Medina. They turn into a monster that came all the way inside the Masjid al-Nabawi. They turn into a monster that people could dare to start throwing rocks at Hazrat Osman when he was giving khutbah from the maqam of the Prophet inside the Rawza Sharif. That one of them started yelling at him and said, "Be careful, you foolish old man. Step down or we will choke you to death." Another man came and he took Hazrat Osman's cane from his hands and he broke it. And they threw rocks at Hazrat Osman until he passed out. A person is going to ask, how is this possible? Because when fitna starts, Shaitan can smell it. And then he comes to make it from just whispers into something that can bring down empires. When people started openly criticizing Hazrat Osman and saying he was a bad Khalifa, and saying that they knew better than him. Then the people who wanted to bring Islam down saw their opportunity and came rushing to Medina to try to finish Islam. They gathered their allies in Egypt, in Kufa, in Basra, and the fitna makers from all these areas came together, pretending to go to Hajj. And they came, and they occupied the city of Medina. Understand that the fitna that martyred Hazrat Osman, that fitna grew and it martyred Hazrat Ali. And it grew and it martyred Hazrat Hassan and Hazrat Hussein. It is not a small thing, it is a huge thing. But it started from just words, from just talking. It is such a huge fitna that even the son of one of the biggest Sahabis was inside Hazrat Osman's room when the rebels entered to kill him. And that person who had gotten fooled by the fitna, he started pulling Hazrat Osman's beard. And Hazrat Osman said to him, "Oh son, leave my beard alone. Your father used to honor this beard. He wouldn't have liked to see you there." And that person's hand fell down and he got out of that room before they committed the huge sin of killing the Khalifa. The martyrdom of Hazrat Osman was a wall. It was the first time that those who said Shahadat and killed another Muslim. And from that time, the killing of Muslims, it has not stopped. Who is saying this? Hazrat Hassan ibn Ali, radiallahu anh, who was defending the house of Hazrat Osman until Hazrat Osman told him to pull back. He saw a dream after the assassination of Hazrat Osman. He is saying, "I saw my grandfather, Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam. He was standing next to the throne of Allah and he looked worried. And this was the first time I saw him looking worried in a dream. And then Hazrat Abu Bakr came behind Rasulullah and put his hand on his shoulder. Then Hazrat Umar came behind them and put his hand on the shoulder of Hazrat Abu Bakr. And after this, Hazrat Osman came and his face was full of blood and his head was in his hands. And he said, "Ya Rasulullah, ask the people, for what sin did they slaughter me like a cow?" And when Hazrat Osman said this, the throne of Allah began to shake, and two streams of blood came down from the throne of Allah. And a voice came out from the unseen and declared, "Until today, no believer has taken the life of another believer. From today until Judgment Day, believers will continue to take the lives of other believers." Understand one more time this crime that made the throne of Allah shake. It started with people who were criticizing Hazrat Osman with their words. Just words. Just talk. Just judgment, criticism. But it opened the door to a fitna that will not stop until Judgment Day. When Hazrat Osman's blessed body left his house, his daughter, one of his daughters, she started speaking words of haqq, and she said, with bravery, speaking to the rebels, "O the murderers of Osman, how cruel and unjust you have been. You are making a big deal out of small issues, and you raised ridiculous demands. My father followed those who came before him. You didn't say anything in Hazrat Umar's time because he was harsh, and you were afraid of him. My father was very nice, and you took undue advantage of his kindness, and instead of appreciating his kindness, you started speaking against him. That was ingratitude of the worst type. Ingratitude is a great crime before man and Allah. Ungrateful persons have never been successful. Know that history will never forgive you for your betrayal and ingratitude. Also know that in the world to come, severe punishment await those who are unjust. Hell will be their resting place. You may remember that the Khilafat of Hazrat Umar was very hard on you. You lived in an environment of awe and fear. He put limits on your movements and your freedom. You submitted to him without raising any protest. You could not dare speak before him. You could not dare to criticize him. He was the Khalifa who always carried a whip in his hand. He treated you as dumb cattle and you submitted to this fate. My father treated you as men. He allowed you full freedom. He removed all the restrictions on your movements. He increased your allowance and looked after your welfare in every way. You have paid him back by murdering him. This is very strange. You have gone against Islam. You have repaid good with evil. Now the blessings of Allah have removed from you. For an intelligent person, history teaches us lessons until Judgment Day. For a person who is examining himself and checking himself and looking for the evil inside himself, history gives us all the lessons. Look at the words of that daughter of Hazrat Osman. For a believer, for a person with taqwa, they are going to look at those words and say, do I have some behavior inside myself like the rebels in the time of Hazrat Osman? Don't say, I'm so good one, I'm a Muslim, I'm a mu'min, I'm a murid, I'm a Sufi, I'm safe. That is not the teaching of any awliya. And it is definitely not the teachings of our Shaykh. Our Shaykh is telling us, know that the ego inside you is worse than Firaun, worse than Namrud, worse than Yazid. But during Shaykh and his time, we have seen so many betray him. So many made fitna, and so many had cursed him, and so many, if he was given a chance, they would have killed him. And we are seeing that happening in our days too. Those that our Shaykh had raised high had only fallen because of their ego, repeating the same mistakes. But we must look. If those ones had looked inside of themselves, and if they have doubted their ego the same way that they doubt the Shaykh, some guidance will reach to them. If only they were saying to their ego inside that, oh my ego, you are worse than Firaun, worse than Namrud, worse than Yazid, they would have found safety. Shaykh Effendi is saying, if you do not see your ego worse than Abu Jahil's ego, then you are in bigger trouble than Abu Jahil. If you cannot say, if I was at the time of the Holy Prophet and if Allah did not hold me, I would become worse than Abu Jahil to the Prophet, then you still have pride in your heart, because the characteristics of the ego are all the same on everyone. If Allah is not holding it, if Allah's favor has not reached to you this time or that time, you are Abu Jahil. We are Abu Jahils. So the only way to bring it down is to step on the ego. Stepping on the ego is not just to say, I am stepping on my ego. It has to be in action. If you want to step in your ego, then sit in the presence of someone and say, I am submitting myself and my will to you as you like. That is a step that slowly brings you to the higher stations, because now you are giving yourself up to some other human like you. You are giving control to that one and you are promising to do what that one says. That is the first step of stepping on the ego. The ego that is inside of us. It is always capable of rebelling and doing evil to the one that we are claiming to love today. The only way to stop it is to constantly be questioning ourselves and to be searching for the evil inside ourselves, to look at the doubt and the questions and to understand and to consult and to ask our guide for help in stepping on that evil, stepping on our ego. But if you open the door to whispering, and if you open the door to fitna, know that what you are doing is worse than killing, and that you are opening the sword of rebellion. The two paths, they're in front of us. We have a choice. We are approaching Ashura. The Yazidi way is in front of us, and the Husseini way is in front of us. As Shaykh Effendi is saying, don't just say with a word, I am a Husseini, and sit down and do nothing. Run and fight. Fight in the way of Allah against your ego. If you can fight the evil inside yourself, they will give you power to fight the big evil. But nobody who is easy on their ego can be part of the work of Akhir Zaman. Shaykh Effendi is saying, Shaitan is playing. Shaitan just put the hook. You know, when the fish gets hooked, and if it's a strong one, yes, so many people. You are a strong one. That's why you came around me, meaning your ego is very strong. But you need somebody to work on it properly. Every sheikh is not going to work like this with you. They don't even have the permission. Sometimes you're asking, why are you doing this? So many other sheikhs, they are not even doing this. So you are right. They don't have the permission. Mahdi is saying, I don't want weak ones around me. Those ones around me, they have to be strong ones. Don't fall for your ego. You're going to lose dunya and akhirat. You're going to cry in akhirat. If you reach to the paradise, it doesn't matter. You're going to cry in akhirat again. Because you're going to see, we have put you in this book, in this category. And because of the egoistic action, because of your own ego, we change it. Just like so many people that they came back and forth to the Prophet ﷺ. They accepted Islam. They go to Abu Jahl who's saying something and they changed. Don't think that those ones who came back and forth, they are in the same level with the ones that they came and they stay. They cannot be. Don't think that they are going to be in the same category as Hazrati Hamza, Hazrati Umar or Hazrati Ali. Don't even talk about Hazrati Abu Bakr. What made them to reach to that station? Their taqwa. Their taqwa, their submission to the Holy Prophet's orders. They submit. What Holy Prophet said to them, they accepted. They took it and they put it on top of their head. They didn't have any doubt. They didn't have question mark. Don't think that the shaitan didn't come to those ones. Shaitan came to test, and they said to shaitan, get lost. Here is Prophet. We trust and we give submission to this one. Finish. What he says, that's what we are going to follow. And that made them to reach to the highest station. They became Sahabi Kiram. Never forget, Imam Rabbani Karatasir is saying that this is the tariqat of the Sahabis. We must at least make intention to be on that way. We are very weak. May Allah forgive us. May Allah clean us. May Allah accept us. May Allah grant us the intercession of Habibullah and our Shaykh. May Allah keep us in the mercy of Jamaat and keep us far away from the punishment of separation and loneliness. May Allah give us submission to our guide. May He keep fitna far away from our hearts, far away from our tongues, far away from our ears, and far away from our hands. May He give us more power against our ego and to work for haqq and to do hizmat. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise the station of Hazrati Osman al-Ghani. May His shade be upon us. And may we be blessed with His himmat. For the sake of Sahibul Saif. Ameen, Ameen, Ameen. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah. La ilaha illa La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Lahul mulku wa hamdu wa shakarir. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah. Lahul mulku wa hamdu. La ilaha illallah. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك كنت من الظالمين لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك سبحان قدوس ربنا سبحان قدوس ربنا إن دين عند الله الإسلام
وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما سلمت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وارحم سيدنا محمدا وآل سيدنا محمد وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت ورحمت وباركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي وأزواجه أمهات المؤمنين وذريته وأهل بيته كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم داحي المدحوات وبارئ المسموكات وجبار القلوب على فطرتها شقيها وسعيدها اجعل شرائف صلواتك ونوامي بركاتك ورأفة تحننك على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك الفاتح لما أغلق والخاتم لما سبق والمعلن الحق بالحق والدامغ لجيشات الأباطيل كما حمل فاضطلع بأمرك بطاعتك مستوفزا في مرضاتك واعيا لوحيك حافظا لعهدك ماضيا على نفاذ أمرك حتى أورى قبسا لقابس آلاء الله تصل بأهله أسبابه به هديت القلوب بعد خوضات الفتن والإثم وأبهج موضحات الأعلام ونائرات الأحكام ومنيرات الإسلام فهو أمينك المأمون وخازن علمك المخزون وشهيدك يوم الدين وبعيثك نعمة ورسولك بالحق رحمة. اللهم افسح له في عدنك واجزه مضاعفات الخير من فضلك مهنآت له غير مكدرات من فوز ثوابك المحلول وجزيل عطائك المعلول. اللهم أعل على بناء الناس بناءه وأكرم مثواه لديك ونزله وأتمم له نوره واجزه من ابتعاثك له مقبول الشهادة ومرضي المقالة ذا منطق عدل وخطة فصل وبرهان عظيم. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. لبيك اللهم ربي وسعديك صلوات الله البر الرحيم والملائكة المقربين والنبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وما سبح لك من شيء يا رب العالمين على سيدنا محمد بن عبد الله خاتم النبيين وسيد المرسلين وإمام المتقين ورسول رب العالمين الشاهد البشير الداعي إليك بإذنك السراج المنير عليه السلام. اللهم اجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك على سيد المرسلين وإمام المتقين وخاتم النبيين سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك إمام الخير وقائد الخير ورسول الرحمة. اللهم ابعثه مقاما محمودا يغبطه فيه الأولون والآخرون. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأولاده وأزواجه وذريته وأهل بيته وأصهاره وأنصاره وأشياعه ومحبه وأمته وعلينا معهم أجمعين يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عدد من صلى عليه وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد من لم يصل عليه وصل على سيدنا محمد كما أمرتنا بالصلاة عليه وصل عليه كما يحب أن يصلى عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما أمرتنا أن نصلي عليه. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما هو أهله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحب وترضاه له. اللهم يا رب سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد صل على سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد وأعط سيدنا محمدا الدرجة والوسيلة في الجنة. اللهم يا رب سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد اجز سيدنا محمدا صلى الله عليه وسلم ما هو أهله. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وعلى أهل بيته. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من الصلاة شيء. وارحم سيدنا محمدا وآل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من الرحمة شيء. وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من البركة شيء. وسلم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد حتى لا يبقى من السلام شيء. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد في الأولين وصل على سيدنا محمد في الآخرين، وصل على سيدنا محمد في النبيين، وصل على سيدنا محمد في المرسلين، وصل على سيدنا محمد في الملأ الأعلى إلى يوم الدين. اللهم أعط سيدنا محمدا الوسيلة والفضيلة والشرف والدرجة الكبيرة. اللهم إني آمنت بسيدنا محمد ولم أره فلا تحرمني في الجنان رؤيته وارزقني صحبته، وتوفني على ملته واسقني من حوضه مشربا رويا سائغا هنيئا لا نظمأ بعده أبدا إنك على كل شيء قدير. اللهم أبلغ روح سيدنا محمد مني تحية وسلاما. اللهم وكما آمنت بسيدنا محمد ولم أره فلا تحرمني في الجنان رؤيته. اللهم تقبل شفاعة سيدنا محمد الكبرى وارفع درجته العليا وآته سؤله في الآخرة والأولى كما آتيت سيدنا إبراهيم وسيدنا موسى. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد نبيك ورسولك وسيدنا إبراهيم خليلك وصفيك وسيدنا موسى كليمك ونجيك وسيدنا عيسى روحك وكلمتك وعلى جميع ملائكتك ورسلك وأنبيائك وخيرتك من خلقك وأصفيائك وخاصتك وأوليائك من أهل أرضك وسمائك. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد عدد خلقه ورضاء نفسه وزنة عرشه ومداد كلماته وكما هو أهله وكلما ذكره الذاكرون وغفل عن ذكره الغافلون وعلى أهل بيته وعترته الطاهرين وسلم تسليما. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته وعلى جميع النبيين والمرسلين والملائكة والمقربين وجميع عباد الله الصالحين عدد ما أمطرت السماء منذ بنيتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما أنبتت الأرض منذ دحوتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد النجوم في السماء فإنك أحصيتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما تنفست الأرواح منذ خلقتها. وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد ما خلقت وما تخلق وما أحاط به علمك وأضعاف ذلك. اللهم صل عليهم عدد خلقك ورضاء نفسك وزنة عرشك ومداد كلماتك ومبلغ علمك وآياتك. اللهم صل عليهم صلاة تفوق وتفضل صلاة المصلين عليهم من الخلق أجمعين كفضلك على جميع خلقك. اللهم صل عليهم صلاة دائمة مستمرة الدوام على مر الليالي والأيام متصلة الدوام لا انقضاء لها ولا انصرام على مر الليالي والأيام عدد كل وابل وطل. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد نبيك وسيدنا إبراهيم خليلك وعلى جميع أنبيائك وأصفيائك من أهل أرضك وسمائك عدد خلقك ورضاء نفسك وزنة عرشك ومداد كلماتك ومنتهى علمك وزنة جميع مخلوقاتك صلاة مكررة أبدا عدد ما أحصى علمك وملء ما أحصى علمك وأضعاف ما أحصى علمك صلاة تزيد وتفوق وتفضل صلاة المصلين عليهم من الخلق أجمعين كفضلك على جميع خلقك. اللهم اجعلني ممن لزم ملة نبيك سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعظم حرمته وأعز كلمته وحفظ عهده وذمته ونصر حزبه ودعوته وكثر تابعيه وفرقته ووافى زمرته ولم يخالف سبيله وسنته. اللهم إني أسألك الاستمساك بسنته وأعوذ بك من الانحراف عما جاء به. اللهم إني أسألك من خير ما سألك منه سيدنا محمد نبيك ورسولك صلى الله عليه وسلم وأعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه سيدنا محمد نبيك ورسولك صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم اعصمني من شر الفتن وعافني من جميع المحن وأصلح مني ما ظهر وما بطن ونق قلبي من الحقد والحسد ولا تجعل علي تباعة لأحد. اللهم إني أسألك الأخذ بأحسن ما تعلم والترك لسيء ما تعلم وأسألك التكفل بالرزق والزهد في الكفاف والمخرج بالبيان من كل شبهة والفلج بالصواب في كل حجة والعدل في الغضب والرضاء والتسليم لما يجري به القضاء والاقتصاد في الفقر والغنى والتواضع في القول والفعل والصدق في الجد والهزل. اللهم إن لي ذنوبا فيما بيني وبينك وذنوبا فيما بيني وبين خلقك. اللهم ما كان لك منها فاغفره وما كان منها لخلقك فتحمله عني وأولني بفضلك إنك واسع المغفرة. اللهم نور بالعلم قلبي واستعمل بطاعتك بدني وخلص من الفتن سري واشغل بالاعتبار فكري وقني شر وساوس الشيطان وأجرني منه يا رحمن حتى لا يكون له علي سلطان. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وأزواجه وذريته كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وأزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وآل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آل سيدنا محمد. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عبدك ورسولك. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم وترحم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما ترحمت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم وتحنن على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما تحننت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد.
How many people are going to say that? That you do wrong things, He forgives you all the time, every time. He's not going to tell you you are wrong. You do the worst crimes, against mankind, against Allah. You change what Allah has put on you. Those people are saying, no, Prophet is going to forgive. He's going to. Yes? That's what people's idea of the Holy Prophet ﷺ is. An idea of saints, an idea of Allah is. So Dajjal is going to come knowing that people are thinking like that. And he's going to appear to be like that. They forget all the other parts of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. Just as people forget about our Shaykh. Now that our Shaykh is veiled, suddenly they're saying, oh, he's so compassionate, he's so nice, he's so this, he's that, but they forgot. That's the reason why Shaykh Effendi loved Hazrat Umar. So now when they see some reality in front of them, they say, no, that's not the Prophet. The reality, but the fake one, they say it is. So they are already fooled. Not fooled in dreams, fooled in real life. They're going to see with these eyes. As people are already seeing and understanding from what the scholars of today, so many on the way of Dajjal already. Scholars of today They're denying Khilafat. Scholars of today, that is in the payroll of ideologies and governments, they are going to tell you what your Lord is. They're going to tell you what your religion is, yes or no? They're going to tell you what your prophet is. Not only in non-Muslim countries, everyone get very excited. Oh, France banning this imam because he's reciting some ayats. You hear about that? No, you don't. He's reciting some ayats and France is saying this is against to our national values. You get so excited about France? Since when France became a friend of Islam? Never. What about all the Muslim countries? Their forefathers have always been the pillars of Islam. And now, if those Muslim countries, the imams, the sheikhs say one thing that is against to what the regime wants, they're not fired. More things can happen to them. We know this. Yes or no? Why are you excited about France? Why are you not looking in your own backyard and see how this can happen? What happened? That's why Ahlul Sunnah wal Jamaat, you always see, especially the highest level ones, highest level imams, not only them of course, but I'm saying as an example, they are, when the Khalifa is telling them something, they dare to go against the Khalifa because it is a matter of truth. Even if the Khalifa is praising them and wanting to put them up, they say, no, we have to be away from all of this. We are not threatened by you, and we are not bribed by you. So, people are already fooled by Dajjal now. People thinking they're waiting for Dajjal to come, and then Dajjal is going to say, they're already fooled. If you cannot see that right now, you're completely blind. Because everyone is selling their own version of Islam. Everyone is selling their own version of the Prophet and of Allah. You need to understand in a dream whether it's shaitan or not, haq or not. No, you're seeing it in your open eyes. How many Muslims, especially Muslims in the West, every time you say, no, this is haq and this is batil, they say, no, no, no, please, brother, don't. Don't judge them. Allah is merciful, don't you know? Prophet is merciful, don't you know? Some scholars even go so far as to say, well, all those hadiths about dogs, no, no, no, it's all false. It cannot be, because it cannot come from the Prophet. Prophet loves animals. They become so idiot and so stupid. If you don't have a shaykh, your shaykh is shaitan. Tell me which ulamas today they're holding on to sheikhs and they're saying, I submit to him. Which ones? And the sheikhs that as Shaykh Effendi is saying, the Shaykh is going to explain to you what is ego and what is haq. Not the Sheikhs that they are also payroll. They try to be politician, they cannot be, so they become a Shaykh. But they can enter into, now because they're a Shaykh, promoting what? Unity, what else? Love, understanding, compassion, east-west bridging, everything. Because they are promoting that, now they can enter into every closed conference and secret meetings that all the top governments that they have, because those top governments saying, now we can use them. The whole point is, don't follow the sunnat. We're going to tell you what the sunnat is. So you're asking me, can Dajjal impersonate? Yes, Dajjal can impersonate. Can Shaitan impersonate? Yes, Shaitan can impersonate. But the one that has faith will know it is an impersonation. The one who does not have faith, his faith is very weak. And he's saying, this impersonation, it appeals to my ego, that one will believe. You understand? Does not evil always try to look like good. Shaitan always tries to look like haq, no? Shaitan never appears as Shaitan saying, I'm going to do this. That's why these stupid, some religions, they say Shaitan is on the ears whispering to you. Horns, black, not black, red, with a tail whispering to you. No, they come in the best form. And they come in the best form that you like, not just in the best form. So if you are liking those things and it's not according to what Allah likes, already millions are in the garbage side, millions. I'm being a little bit more merciful because Shaykh Effendi is saying billions. Shaykh Maulana is saying billions. So we have to be careful now, not to be careful later on. You understand? You don't know so much. Follow those ones who know. That's it, finish. You don't have to know so much. Follow those ones who know. What, you have to study dentistry for 10 years, 20 years to pull out your teeth? To understand that you need dental hygiene? You have to do that? No, everybody knows that. You have to study to become a lawyer in order to know what to do with your ticket? No. Muslims have become so stupid and so fooled. They say, no, I'm not going to listen to any expert on Islam. I have to study myself. But you're studying with a worse intention, with worse shaitanic and egoistic influence. That time, Shaitan is going to be very happy. Dajjal is going to be very happy because this is the kind of alims and ulamas that we want in the Akhir Zaman. And nobody can do anything. Nobody can do anything. You understand? Allah protect us, inshallah. Be simple. Follow those ones. Stay on top of a mountain. Be simple. Be happy. Understand? Look around and say thank you. And be careful and be vigilant that it doesn't enter into our hearts. Assalamu alaikum. All right. Any question? Anyone else? Okay. Amir Ramza, give over there. Give to women. Okay, go. Okay. Yes? Anything? Yes?
One of the...
Give.
Well, it feels like when Muslims are talking about the...
BismillahirRahmanirRahim. Testing.
BismillahirRahmanirRahim.
Okay.
Testing. Well, it feels like when Muslims are talking about the four Khulafa Rashidin, they always tend to not talk as much about Hazrat Osman. Kind of giving the impression maybe he was, astaghfirullah, not as...
Yes.
Why is that we have fallen into that type of mentality when all of them are the friends of the Prophet ﷺ?
No, because we became idiots. So we follow idiot people, idiot alims and idiot teachers. Nobody is interested in our history properly. Nobody is teaching the history properly. Because all parents are aiming for their kids to become hafiz. They're not interested to know about the Hafiz Osman, to know about the Hafiz Abu Bakr, to know about the Hafiz Umar and Ali. They don't want to. Because they are proud, they just want the title. My daughter is a Hafiz, my son is a Hafiz. Swallowing Quran like an idiot. Heart is dirty, but they swallow Quran, they can brag to all their friends. But they don't want their children to become like Hazrati Osman, Hazrati Ali, Hazrati Umar, Hazrati Abu Bakr. They don't want that. They don't want to. They want their children to be as secular as possible, to have enough from this world as much as they want. Not too religious, yani. That's why they have no problems if their children memorize the Quran and then later on they go to clubs, they have boyfriends, girlfriends. And even those ones who are training to become qaris, how you say? Good reciters of Quran, You're looking at them, they always dress up as if they're in a club. And they sit around, crossing their legs like this, and reciting to each other, MashaAllah. And everyone is so happy, because it's not Wahhabi. Wahhabi isn't the only evil, you know. There are worse evils than that too. All because you don't have a shaykh, that's all. You don't. So you just follow according to who? According to what your governments are telling you, according to what the ideology, according to whether you are a socialist, they're going to follow that. If you are nationalist, you're going to follow that. If you are a liberal, they're going to follow that. According to that, and you use the religion just to follow what the society is saying, this is what you have to do. Every ism is there. Capitalism, socialism, except for Khilafat. They don't teach that. They say, run away from that. That is all wrong, they're saying. From top to bottom, they're saying it. Because once you're studying Khilafat, history of Islam, kings, once you're studying that, you understand there's a completely different system. Then you understand what is education in Islam. What is religious education in Islam? How Islam is treating economy. How Islam is treating workers. How Islam is dictating how you should be treating this world. And that time you're going to think, once you study this, you say everything else is wrong. They cannot afford to do that. They say, don't. Islam just go up and down like an idiot, empty like a parrot, like a robot, and swallowing the Quran. But it's not changing your heart. This is what it is. Everyone is fine with it. It's not like you have big demonstrations. People are saying, no, bring down this wrong understanding. Never. And then after that, everyone is happy because the son became a doctor, lawyer, this, that. They sit cross-legged, they drink their chai. They go to conferences, they write notes, they get nice package. And then we go to the highest Jannah. Isn't that so? So no, nothing. So never mind. This is not how we're going to teach our kids. So. Something is very wrong in this world. When you come up from that idea, something is very wrong, then you want to do something that is right. Muslims have lost this. Even when every day they see wrong things happening to their brothers, wrong things happen, they run away from that. Especially in the West, they run away from that. They say, yeah, it's wrong, but we're getting nice paycheck. It's wrong, but we have 6 flags. It's wrong, but we all have our computers and we're okay, yani. Allah must favor us. Alhamdulillah, astaghfirullah, alhamdulillah. And that's it, finished. Heart is dead. And then everything else about the issues of Islam just become another cross-leg, chai in your hand talking. Everyone trying to fix Islam like that. Why don't you speak to the rightly guided alims? Why don't you speak to those ones? The sheikhs, why don't you speak to them? They don't want to because they say, I know better, I'm a doctor. I am a PhD, but still doctor. Yes? It's very sad. So all of this gives them a lot of ammunition for pride, for arrogance. So even if they hear something which is true, that they know it is true, their arrogance is so sophisticated, so developed, they say, no, it's not. I don't want to. So anyone comes up with truth, they say, I don't want to listen to this. Then they're going to find something wrong. I don't want to listen to this. Why? Because he doesn't speak Arabic. I don't want to listen. Why? Because he mispronounced certain things. You understand? Everything is there. So, how? How now to reach to people? Don't reach to everyone. Reach to those ones who are asking. You're lost. Astaghfirullah. Ya Allah, keep us in safety, inshallah. We're saying we know all the answers? No, we don't. We're saying we do everything perfectly? Never we're saying that. We are saying we're trying to hold on to our shaykh tightly in Jamaat, properly. We fall down, we get up. We fall down, we get up, but we're in the right direction, inshallah, because our shaykh is in front of us. Those who have no shaykh, their shaykh is shaitan. Go follow your shaitan. Don't bother us. Those who are following the shaykh, hold on tightly, because shaitan is very busy these days. The winds are knocking down everywhere. Fire is burning everywhere. Every sign is showing, wake up. If you're not holding on to your shaykh properly, the winds will overtake you. The fire will overtake you. That's all. You understand? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Kafir. Okay. Ashka, anything else? Yes?
Sorry, BismillahirRahmanirRahim. When you're following a shaykh and the shaykh is showing some things that are wrong, the ego, the characteristics of the ego, and after some time you feel like with the blessings of the shaykh you can recognize them and be careful. But then later there is a sense of complacency that can come with that sometimes. And later the shaykh might also point something else, and then you realize that those characteristics, they go much more deeper.
Yes, of course.
How not to be complacent, because it feels like...
No, you cannot be complacent when you are always number one, if you're sincere. If you're sincere. And you must always be in a state of amazement, curiosity about your own ego and what you can discover, because it's never ending. That's all we talk about now. So the sohbat is important if you're always in sohbat. Not just coming once a week, twice a week to listen to 10-minute sohbat. No. You're thinking, you're trying to be with the shaykh, trying to be with the work that he's doing. Being with others. You're not separating yourself. And you're looking. Then you're not going to be complacent. Because the signs will be there, shown to you, before anything happens. Always a sign to be shown you. Everyone else is a reflection of you. You take that a little bit seriously. Especially the one who completes your religion. The one that you're married to. That one is going to be a reflection on you. Of your ego too, yes. This is where people draw the line. They say, okay, I can come here and be a murid, but when I go home, I'm not a murid anymore. That's where you lost everything. The best place for you to understand, to look, that Prophet is saying openly, this is half of your religion. You complete your religion when you get married, no? But you're not looking at that. You say, okay, I can watch my manners here, but when I go home, everything is like this. Then you lost everything. Well, at that time, yes, you can be complacent because you're blindsided. You think it doesn't apply. Since when it doesn't apply? If you cannot control yourself in your own family, you think you can control yourself here? You cannot. If you don't know how to stand up like a man in front of your own family, you think you can stand up against shaitan? You cannot. That time you're going to stand up against your shaykh and you think you're a man. You're not a man. You're a woman. Worse than that. You can put another alphabet next to so many. Understand? Now, people can fool themselves. It's okay. How you can be complacent about thinking that you finish one side of the ego? No, you cannot. Or it's impossible in that way. You watch yourself, and if you participate enough in the Dergah, you will know. Not only in your family, in others, here, there, when you're working, when you're praying, when you're spending time, when you're doing this, everything. Start seeing. You understand? Okay. Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Okay. Eat your bakla. Eat. Nom nom nom. I don't have to tell you twice. Oh yeah, just. happening? Ah. Alhamdulillah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. What is this? Why are they making it like this? Okay. Bayram, you want some? He looks disappointed. He thought I'm going to give him baklava, but I'm giving him fruit. Huh? You want some?
Yes, thank you. No.
Oh, you said you didn't want any.
Yeah,
That's
I
why he
I
took.
said no to him taking.
You said no to me.
Oh no, not to you, Shane.
Huh?
It's me.
Shut us up, though.
Stuff. May I have it, please?
Not being friendly. Why are you being friendly?
Why am I being friendly? Yeah, he's strong. Yeah.
اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وارحم سيدنا محمدا وآل سيدنا محمد وبارك.
Why is people today like they don't know anything about the Ottoman Empire, the last 100 years, but they're still like, when you mention Khilafat, they're very like, they're turned off by it. Like I noticed that, like.
Oh, you noticed that?
No.
MashaAllah.
No,
What powers of deduction.
Like Sharia, they're like really, they kind of like that.
And? So yeah, what's your question?
Like why is that? Like why do they?
Why they what? They're not interested in Khilafat? In the history? Huh?
Yeah, like.
Because they're banned from reading it. Because every Muslim country is concentrating on nationalism. If Muslim countries are concentrating on Khilafat, that means that they are saying that we made a mistake. That we're in bidat. So they have to just stop that and say, let's concentrate on nationalism. Zindabad, you understand? In every way. Because now if you start talking about Khilafat, kings, mulks, then you have to go and say, for example, in the case of Pakistan, you have to talk about India. Astaghfirullah, we will never speak about India. You have to, no? Then you have to talk about the Mughals. Are you taught about the Mughals? No. In fact, they don't want to talk about the Mughals. The Indians in India, they're not talking about the Mughals. They don't teach you. But they talk about Vande Matram. Yeah? Right? So why you don't ask yourself, why are you not? Because this is why government is really important in Haqq. The government is important. Government is important. Government is important in Islam. Without government, it cannot work. Prophet ﷺ, the first thing he did when he had support and power is to form a government. If you have belief without any government, it's going to be lost, just like Christianity. You understand? And then the prevailing norms, history, culture, people, then they are going to take that religion and they're going to change that according to. Religion is not going to change them, they're going to change the religion. The Prophet said was some form of government first, laws, from top to bottom. So if you don't have that, then it's done, finished, you don't have religion. That's why Prophet ﷺ is saying 3 days there is no Khalifa, there is no Islam, it's not ruling. So you're wondering why people are not interested in that? Because they never taught that. He's saying all this is not necessary for you to. What you want to learn, just Khulafa Rashidin, that's it. And even then, skip through so many things, like he's saying. No mention of Hazrat Osman and all the fitna that is surrounding it, because now you'll be able to put 2 and 2 together, and then you're going to reflect on that, and it's happening here now. How different people, let's say, they are using now people's fears, people's fantasies to change governments. So that's it. Know certain things. Even if you're reading those books and it's teaching you a lot of wrong things, but because of your sincerity, Allah will show you the right way. You'll be able to take something that is good. But the way we approach history also is just a Western way of approaching history. You kill that. You go to school, you open a book, you test it on that. That's not how Muslims learn their history. If Muslims learned that history in 1300 years, we would have lost history in the first 100 years. Nobody bothers to. They don't like it. But it's not the way. We didn't learn history like that. Anyway, keep safe. Keep your faith safely. Don't try to know too much. Know only those things that will make your faith to become stronger. If you're following a shaykh, listen to what he has to say. If you're not following a shaykh, good luck to you. Follow yourself, who cares? Assalamu alaikum. Have a good day. I'll see you next time. Fatiha. Okay. Let me see. You saved the best for last, huh?
والآخرون اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأولاده وأزواجه وذريته وأهل بيته وأصهاره وأنصاره وأشياعه ومحبه وأمته وعلينا معهم أجمعين يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد عدد من صلى عليه وصل على سيدنا محمد عدد من لم يصل عليه وصل على سيدنا محمد كما أمرتنا بالصلاة عليه وصل عليه كما يحب أن يصلى عليه اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد